Good morning, Hudson High. We will now observe a moment of silence. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Today is January 14th, day 3. Here's Abby.
Attention all students, the Scribblers Annual Writing and Art Contest is currently seeking submissions. The deadline has been extended to March 4th. The contest categories include poetry, short fiction, flash fiction, which is 500 words or less, nonfiction, which can be an editorial or a college essay, and art. Art submissions can be any image, photo, painting, or drawing, and the first place winner will receive cover publication, a great way to add another perk to your art portfolio or college application. All entries can be submitted to Ms. Hobbs or the Scribbler email, scribblerhhs@gmail.com. Please write general submissions in the subject line. Also, due to bus driver shortages, some bus routes have changed. Be sure to check the bus schedule by going to the main Hudson Public School webpage, click on Parents, and then click on Bus Routes. There you'll find the most updated information. You can always check in the office if you aren't sure. A big shout out and congratulations to Grace Breton and Maya Nicolosi. They'll be joining schools from Portugal, Brazil, Germany, Andorra, Italy, and Spain to represent Hudson High School in the United States at the 24th Unesco International Meeting of Young Scientists Conference. The 2022 conference theme is Cultural Diversity, the Indigenous Languages as an Integration Factor, and Sustainability of Planet Earth. If you see Grace or Maya, please join me in wishing them luck and thanking them for representing our school at this important conference that is centered around global issues that impact us all. They have worked very hard designing their project. It's called It's Urgent, It's Important, and It's Important for Everyone. We leave you today with a look at their amazing project. Have a great day, Hudson High.
I'm Grace.
And I'm Maya.
Meu nome é Grace.
Meu nome é Maya.
We're from Hudson, Massachusetts, United States. Nós somos dos Hudson, Massachusetts, Estados Unidos. And this is our project.
It's urgent, it's important, and it's important for everyone.
Very early on in the project planning process, we recognized that we didn't have a complete, comprehensive understanding of what the word Indigenous even meant. And so we decided to consult outside resources, such as that of Don't Sleep, There Are Snakes by Daniel L. Everett. This book broadened our perspectives of what it means to be Indigenous to a culture and of a country as well, in this case being the Pitahans of Brazil.
We had the opportunity to listen to a conference led by a leader of a local Indigenous tribe, the Wampanoag. The project we made this year was centered around a lesson plan that we presented to freshman classes at our high school.
The main prerogative of our lesson plan was to demonstrate to students the importance of preserving Native American language and culture. We gave the students pre- and post worksheets to assess their knowledge before and after our lesson.
We taught them through a series of games. The first one was a connections game. We showed them words of Indigenous languages that we use in our English language.
Following our connections game, we projected a map to students, displaying towns with names derived from native languages, to further illustrate the impacts of these such languages on their lives.
In the second activity, we gave students 4 different groups of key aspects we would lose when losing an Indigenous language.
The purpose of this 4 corners activity was to get students to collaborate and comprehend the implications of the continued heightening extinction of languages worldwide. The first category we assigned students was rights regarding Native Americans' lack of rights to their own land throughout history.
Our second category of health brought to light the key ideas shared by the Iroquois of mindfulness.
The third category we assigned students was culture, in which we discussed how the culture of Indigenous tribes is integral to preserve in order to maintain ideas about sustainability through their traditions, customs, and unique insight.
The final category was centered around environment, and this is where the teaching of the Wampanoag Conference was shared. The Wampanoag helped sustain the colonies because of the insight they shared with the Pilgrims about farming land and hunting. The Wampanoag taught the Pilgrims to hunt in the winter because the fur was most dense and the meat was most robust.
The final game students played was Two Truths and a Lie, in which students were presented with 3 shocking statistics and were asked to identify the false statement. Our intention of this game was to stress the imminent danger of language extinction in the United States, with the few surviving Native American languages left being in a state of severe endangerment.
For our call to action, we left students with festive ornaments with QR codes leading to Indigenous websites, influencers, and museums. We also directed them to local Indigenous small businesses. A few things you can do too is to watch TikToker and friends Sheena Nova. She shares her family's history of being Inuit and her journey as an Inuit in modern day society. The second is watching the show Rutherford Falls on NBC's new streaming service Peacock, which was partly written by Indigenous writers.
With that, we would like to reiterate our catchphrase from earlier. It's urgent, it's important, and it's important for everyone. Language preservation is not just critical to tribes, with preservation actually allowing for the continued reliance on Native Americans as living resources to benefit everyone, with unique insight on both cultural and environmental sustainability. And now, we invite you to listen to a couple of the takeaways that students had.
I learned that the Native Americans are losing land. It's a super big issue and that they have so much influence on the world.
The biggest takeaway was that the Native American languages doesn't just impact culture, but it also affects the environment.
Muitas línguas estão morrendo, mas várias pessoas estão tentando usá-las de volta.
A lot of our schools in Massachusetts are named after indigenous tribes.
Muito influenciados pela língua inglesa, mas mesmo assim eles estão tentando meio que salvar o idioma da cultura das pessoas nativas.